Namaste Vidya. Hamisha Khush Raho Vidya. A very good morning to you all. Myself, JV'n Dr. Ravi Jain, Assistant Professor, Department of Practice of Medicine at Faculty of Homeopathic Science in JAYOTI VIDYAPEETH University. Today, we are going to discuss about pancreatitis. So, we will start with pancreatitis, first lecture. In this lecture, we will be discussing about acute pancreatitis. What is pancreatitis? Pancreatitis is the inflammation of the pancreas. It happens when digestive enzymes starts digesting the pancreas. So pancreatitis is the inflammation of the pancreas, and it happens when the digestive enzymes starts digesting the pancreas. Pancreatitis can be of two types: acute pancreatitis or chronic pancreatitis. The pancreas secretes 1500 to 3000 milliliter of isosmotic alkaline. The pH is greater than 8 fluid per day containing around 20 enzymes. Now, how is the regulation of pancreatic secretion takes place? So, the gastric acid is the stimulus for the release of secretin. In presence of gastric acid, the secretin is released from the duodenal mucosa, the S cells of the duodenal mucosa. It stimulates the secretion of water and electrolyte from the pancreatic peptide cell. So it stimulates the secretion of water. The secretin stimulates the secretion of water and electrolytes from the pancreatic duct cells. There is release of cholecystokinin (CCK) that is triggered by long-chain fatty acids, essential amino acids, and gastric acid. The CCK evokes an enzyme-rich secretion from the acinar cells in the pancreas. The parasympathetic nervous system exerts significant control over the pancreatic secretion. The water and bicarbonate secretions are heavily dependent on the hormonal effects of secretin, and to a lesser extent to the CCK. CCK is cholecystokinin. So the secretion of water and bicarbonate is dependent more on secretin and less on the CCK. The pancreas secretes amylolytic, lipolytic, and proteolytic enzymes for digestion of carbohydrates, fats, and proteins into the ductal lumen. Amylolytic enzymes consist of amylase, lipolytic consist of lipase, and proteolytic consist of trypsin and kinase. Autoprotection of the pancreas. The packaging of pancreatic proteases in precursor enzyme form. There is synthesis of the protective protease inhibitors. The chymotrypsin C can also lyse and inactivate trypsin. So there is autoprotective mechanism that is present in the pancreas, which protect itself from the various enzymes that are usually used in the digestion of food. Now we come to acute pancreatitis. What is acute pancreatitis? Acute pancreatitis, this incidence ranges from 13 to 45 per 1 lakh persons. So pancreatitis, when it is occurring in the recent it has occurred recently, and the definition we will be discussing in the coming slides. First of all, let's understand the incidence and etiology. So the incidence ranges from 13 to 45 per 1 lakh population. Acute pancreatitis results in greater than 250,000 hospitalizations per year. The etiology consists of gallstones, alcohol, ERCP, endoscopic retrograde cholangiopancreatography, and drugs. The other etiological factors include trauma and post-operative. So acute pancreatitis varies from intestinal pancreatitis, where the blood supply is maintained and is self-limiting, to the necrotizing pancreatitis, where the blood supply is interrupted. So there are two conditions of the acute pancreatitis where the blood supply is maintained, and the second one when the blood supply is interrupted. There is autodigestion that is currently accepted theory for the cause of acute pancreatitis. Pancreatitis results from the proteolytic enzymes. So proteolytic enzymes are resulting into pancreatitis. Example, trypsinogen. Lipolytic enzymes are activated in pancreas, acinar cells rather than the intestinal lumen. There is activated proteolytic enzymes, especially trypsin. not only digest the pancreatic and peripancreatic tissues, but also activate the other enzymes. So activated proteolytic enzymes are there, especially trypsin. It not only digests the pancreas, but it also activates the other enzymes that are used for digestion. Now, what is the pathogenesis that is involved in case of acute pancreatitis? Pancreatitis is a disease that evolves into three phases. So there are three phases of pancreatitis. Initial phase, it is characterized by intrapancreatic digestive enzymes that are with activation and acinar cell injury. So in the initial phase, there is activation of the intrapancreatic digestive enzymes and leading to the acinar cell injury. In the second phase, there is involvement with activation, chemoattraction, and sequestration of the leukocytes and macrophages in the pancreas. It is resulting in the enhanced intrapancreatic inflammatory reaction. In the third phase, due to the effects of activated proteolytic enzymes and cytokine released by the inflamed pancreas on blistering body. So the third phase is due to the effects of the activated proteolytic enzymes and cytokines that are released by the inflamed pancreas on blistering body. It causes proteolysis, edema, interstitial hemorrhages, vascular damage, coagulation, necrosis, fat necrosis, and parenchymal cell necrosis. Now, what are the clinical features of acute pancreatitis? In acute pancreatitis, the abdominal pain is the major symptom. The most important symptom is abdominal pain. The pain varies from mild discomfort to severe, constant, and incapacitating distress. So the pain is variable, starting from the mild discomfort to severe, constant, and incapacitating distress is there. The pain is steady and boring in character. So the pain is steady, constant, and it is boring in character. It is located in the epigastrium and periumbilical region. So it is located in the epigastrium and the periumbilical region, and the pain may also radiate to the back, chest, flank, and lower abdomen. So I'm repeating this location of the pain. It is located in the epigastrium and periumbilical region, and it can radiate to the back, chest, flanks, and lower abdomen. There is nausea, vomiting, and abdominal distension due to gastric and intestinal hypermotility, and chemical peritonitis are also frequent complaints. So there is nausea, vomiting, and abdominal distension due to the gastric and intestinal hypermotility, and chemical peritonitis is also frequent complaints. Now, how will you examine the patient? What is the physical examination that you have in case of acute pancreatitis? On looking at the patient looks distressed and anxious. He is very much anxious. There is low-grade fever, tachycardia, and hypertension. So the patient is having fever, that is low-grade fever. There is tachycardia and hypotension especially. There are two signs which are usually seen in case of acute pancreatitis. Number one is Cullen's sign. The second one is Turner's sign. So what is Cullen's sign? Cullen's sign is a faint blue discoloration around the umbilicus. So this is very important. Cullen's sign, let me show you the Cullen's sign. This is the Cullen's sign. Okay, a slight bluish discoloration around the umbilicus. Due to superficial edema, so this is due to superficial edema and bruising in the subcutaneous fatty tissue and around the umbilicus. So this was Cullen's sign. Now we have another sign, that is Turner's sign. Turner's sign is also blue, red, purple, or greenish point discoloration. See the Cullen's, the gray Turner sign, but this is present in the flank region. Right. So it is a blue, red, purple, or green brown discoloration of the flank that is seen in the retroperitoneal hemorrhage. It is observed in the flank. So Cullen's sign is observed around the umbilicus and Turner's sign in the flank. Now, lab diagnosis. What are the various lab investigations that could be done in case of acute pancreatitis? We have to check for the serum amylase and lipase values, which increased threefold or more above the norm. There is leukocytosis with 15,000 to 20,000 leukocytes per microliter. There is hyperglycemia, that is very common. There can be hyperglycemia, which occurs in 25% of the cases. There may be hyperbilirubinemia with serum bilirubin greater than 68 millimole per liter or greater than 4.0 mg per liter that occurs in around 10% of the patient. There can be hypertriglyceridemia that can occur in 5 to 10% of cases. We can do CT abdomen. Now, how will you diagnose the case? The diagnosis of acute pancreatitis is established by two of the following three criteria. If any two out of these three criteria are present, then you can diagnose the case of acute pancreatitis. Number one is typical abdominal pain in the epigastrium. So there is abdominal pain in the epigastrium that may radiate to the back. So epigastric pain radiating to the back. Threefold or greater elevation of the serum lipase and amylase. The serum lipase and amylase level, if it is greater than 3 times, or the confirmatory findings of acute pancreatitis and cross-sectional abdominal imaging. So if any two out of these three are present, we can diagnose the case of acute pancreatitis. Now, what is the differential diagnosis? What are the different conditions that can resemble acute pancreatitis? It includes perforated viscous, especially epigastric ulcer. Acute cholecystitis and biliary colic can resemble acute pancreatitis. Acute intestinal obstruction can also resemble. There can be mesenteric vascular occlusions, renal colic, inferior myocardial infarction, and dissected aortic aneurysm. These are the various conditions that can resemble the condition of acute pancreatitis. The other conditions include connective tissue disorders with vasculitis, pneumonia, and diabetic ketoacidosis. So these are the various differential diagnoses in the cases of acute pancreatitis. How will you manage a case of acute pancreatitis? So it is very important. 85 to 90% of the cases of acute pancreatitis are self-limited. So this is very important thing that out of the 100% of the cases who are coming to you, 85 to 90% will get cured by themselves. They are self-limited and subside spontaneously within 3 to 7 days. So this is a very important thing. Management of acute pancreatitis begins in the emergency ward. So if the patient is coming to you, you have to admit to the emergency. Aggressive fluid resuscitation, intravenous analgesics are administered, and hemodynamic monitoring is done. The management of necrosis or organ failure has to be done in the cases of acute pancreatitis. So this was all about acute pancreatitis. In the next lecture, we will be discussing about chronic pancreatitis and pancreatitis. This session was powered by a digital version 2.0 JAYOTI VIDYAPEETH University. I hope you are satisfied with the digital session. If you have any query, please mention in the comment box. So this was all for today. Thank you very much. We will meet in the next lecture with chronic pancreatitis. Thank you.